This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by All-Star Vacation Homes. And the next time you're going to Walt Disney World and you're thinking to yourself, I really want some extra space. I want to be able to have a lot of extra space, but I also don't want to have to pay like $800 a night or whatever it's going to run me for a 2 or 3 bedroom unit at Walt Disney World. Well, an All-Star Vacation Home is going to give you a lot of space for everybody in your party for a fraction of the price. Not to mention you get other great amenities like your own private swimming pool, full kitchen, lots of other great things. Check them out online at www.allstarvacationhomes.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, October 16th, 2009, and this is episode 631 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. How are you, Len?
Good, Matt. Sorry I couldn't make a Wednesday show. It was the my post-Columbus Day hangover. You know how that is.
Yeah, I know.
Apologies for that. All the drinks of the New World got to me.
Well, personally, I was celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I know. It's just hard to have all those holidays in at once. I mean, there's turkey, there's tequila, there's turkey, there's tequila. It's all just.
I'm just saying that we don't recognize our Canadians and give thanks to them and take a days off of work for it.
Why isn't Canadian Thanksgiving a national holiday in the U.S.? I mean, isn't that part of NAFTA, and shouldn't it not have been?
I agree with you, sir.
Exactly.
And also joining us on today's show is Erin Foster, a member of the 2009 Disney World's Mom Panel, which of course is online at DisneyWorldMoms.com. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh,
Erin.
Anytime. And Erin, this is episode 631, so we've done about 600 episodes. We covered a gamut of topics. And we have yet to talk really in depth about characters of Walt Disney World, and I guess that speaks to our tendencies in the parks. So we've come to you to lend a hand, if you will, with meeting characters, because meeting characters in the parks is a huge part for many people's trips to Walt Disney World.
Yeah, absolutely. When my children were small, they had no interest in the rides whatsoever, and we spent 24/7 of our Disney vacations hunting down the characters. So I'm well versed in the topic.
Okay, because when I grew up, my parents had no time. They had no interest in it, and therefore they passed on their no interest to myself and my sisters. But clearly, other people have done better. So when we're talking about characters in the park,
we think the show is therapy for Matt. I don't know.
I'm just airing out my grievances that I don't want.
His parents done him wrong, and.
Exactly. The fact that other people get some help out of this is sort of ancillary to.
All right. So meeting characters in the park. Before we even talk about different places and strategies, let's talk about the actual protocol or etiquette that comes with meeting characters in the park. Because in Walt Disney World, especially more so than I would think in Disneyland, there is a lot of people who love to meet the characters, and with that there comes a lot of competition to meet the characters. Isn't that right, Erin?
Absolutely. There are several different places and ways to meet characters. Many characters have established greeting points that there'll be a time published on the Times Guide when you come into the park. If you want to meet Tinkerbell, here's her spot, here's the hours that she's doing it. And then there are also surprise character greetings, characters that just show up on Main Street and you see them and, oh my gosh, I see Daisy Duck, I totally want to meet her. And then people have different goals for their character greetings. Some people just want a hug from Mickey. Some people want an autograph. Some people want a still photo, and some people want video. And all these different types of people are very focused on what their goal is, and their goal may conflict with another guest's goal. So it's, you're encouraged to be polite, to be aware of the other guests, not cut a guest off. Have your supplies ready. If you're going for the autographs, have your book open to a blank page, have your pen ready. If you're going for the photo, have your lens cap off, have the thing turned on. Just sort of basic courtesy things. Go a long way towards making the character greeting experience better for everybody.
Absolutely. Now, how old are your children, Erin?
Right now, my girls are 13 and I have twins that just turned 10.
Okay. So when children were younger and you were acclimating them to meeting characters, what were some things that you did to ensure a positive experience overall for both them and you?
Right. Many kids have a little trepidation of seeing giant 6-foot talking mouse walking around. My girls had actually had a bit of character meeting experience at home before they went. They had encountered, a giant Barney at a birthday party or a whatever at Chuck E. Cheese. And if you're concerned that you're spending, a big chunk of your money going on a Disney vacation and you're worried that your child is going to be trepidatious about the characters, that's a really good way to start. Take them somewhere where they're going to see a character and see how they react. So sort of, desensitize them a little bit.
Absolutely. I think it's a great tip. I know that my friends, my niece, her parents did that with them. They took her to a local, amusement park that had characters and kind of, took it easy rather than, throwing the kid into the pit.
You see a lot of people who they see Mickey and they shove their 2-year-old at Mickey and the kid's like, I don't know what's going on. You really, maybe if you have a toddler, you might want to not even do the character greetings, character lines the first day or two of your trip. Sort of just walk around the park going about your business, and they'll happen to see a character from a distance and see how that works, and so they get a little bit less nervous if they're so inclined to be that way. Another great thing is to make friends with the character handlers. There's nearly always a cast member nearby. Often they're wearing a yellow shirt and have a headset. And they are there to help sort of ease the interaction with the character. So you might walk up to the character handler and say, look, my child's a little afraid. Maybe just have Mickey wave at them, not embrace them. And that might sort of ease any nervousness.
Right. I think it's a great point. Len, you have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Was Hannah ever into? We've met her in the parks. Hannah hasn't been. I mean, she's all business down there. I mean, she's tossing pillows and looking at thread counts on sheets. But when she was a wee bit younger, and not paying the mortgage on your house, did she find the characters interesting, or what was her experience with that?
She really only wanted to meet a couple of characters. One, primarily the characters from Winnie the Pooh. So she wanted to meet Tigger and Piglet and Pooh. Okay. And we generally got her out of the other ones by bringing her to meet like some of the lesser characters like Snow White, and then while Snow White had her arm around Hannah, we would pinch Hannah from the back. So it dissuaded Hannah from wanting to visit more characters, which really worked out well for us. So that
you see what I'm talking about, Aaron? This is why
there you go. Yep.
That's why it's in the show. I can't believe she did that too. Anyway, so really we're not picking any characters. I know a lot of people love it, and Disney seems to have started putting more character greetings in places where you wouldn't normally expect them. Like World Showcase now is just hopping with places, right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, Epcot was devoid of characters. You just couldn't find them at all. Even if you wanted to, they just didn't exist over there.
Belle is in France and Mulan is in China. They're all over the place now.
Yeah.
The place is lousy with them.
In fact, they just added one to Germany over there. Snow White now has a dedicated meet and greet over there with.
She's German?
Evidently, yeah.
Huh. I guess that kind of makes sense. I said that Mary Poppins over in
England, right?
In the UK, right?
Yeah.
In the UK. Okay.
Now
does Canada have a character? Are there any?
They had the Brother Bear characters there for a while. I'm not sure if those are still out.
Are they? They're not Canadian. No, they're American.
No, they were the Canadian mooses. Remember, they had the terrible Canadian.
Oh,
accents.
right.
You had to assume that the rest of them were Canadian.
Is there any Disney character that's a main Disney character that's Canadian?
Are you saying that Brother Bear isn't a main character? Are you?
Well, the bear was American. His neighbors were Canadian.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
But there's main characters from. Are there main characters? No, there's no Norwegian main Disney characters, are there? I was trying to think of whether every country has a character, but Epcot, but Canada.
No.
Okay,
all right.
Let's talk about the princesses though, because they're when we think of characters, we always think of the fur characters, but there's also obviously the face characters, the characters
Absolutely.
that aren't behind masks necessarily. So we're talking about princesses. Aaron, tell us a little bit about your tips for strategies for finding the princess, because the princesses arguably are the hardest characters to find, even more so than maybe even Mickey Mouse.
Well, yeah, they're in Toontown, in the Toontown Fair building. There are 2 meet and greet lines. One is the new Tinkerbell Pixie Hollow meeting line, and the other one is generally princesses, and they'll have a little sign up that confirms that before you wait in the line. But that's really the main place to see princesses together in the Magic Kingdom for free. And we just talked about in Epcot, many of the princesses are there in various of the countries, so they're fairly easy to find there. And those meet and greet times are usually on the Times Guide. But then, of course, the main places where people are very focused on seeing the princesses is the character meals. There's the Cinderella's Royal Table, and you can only see princesses there at breakfast and lunch. People sometimes book dinner and get very upset that they don't get the full princess experience.
That you just get Sven for dinner.
Sven.
You get the fairy godmother, and Cindy's down in the lobby, and some mice, but you don't get the whole panoply of princesses there.
Right. I like that word.
It's nice.
Good SAT word for the day.
There you go.
Yeah, really.
And then there's also the Princess Dining in Norway. And there's also at 1900 Park Fair for dinner, there's Cinderella and the Prince and the stepmother and Anastasia and Drizella. And so that's not a whole princess thing, but the stepsisters sort of give a big comedic ribbing to Cinderella. And if you're into a little humor, that's a great place for princess humor.
Absolutely. And if your child can take a joke and wants to dress up as Cinderella, then that'll really add for some fun things that'll be going on over there. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the characters, because I think this goes with all the characters, really, Aaron. I know that there's some people out there that don't mind, standing in the lines. So the lines can get very long to meet the characters. But I know that if you're looking, not necessarily to buy your children's love, but if you're looking to maybe buy, how much is your time worth to you?
Some sanity.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
The character meals really are great opportunities for that, because you're guaranteed to meet the characters. They have to come to your table, and you get to sit down and eat and maybe, sip a beverage while this is all going on.
Enjoy some air conditioning. Yeah.
Exactly.
There are other places to buy your character experience other than character meals. There are several tour experiences that also include characters.
Really?
We did the Family Magic Tour a couple times, and that takes the form of a little sort of scavenger hunt through the Magic Kingdom. And at the end, there's a fairly extensive meet and greets. Sometimes they change the characters, but when we did it, it was Peter Pan and Wendy. And my kids got a good 20 minutes playing Duck, Duck, Goose with Peter Pan and Wendy at the end of that tour. And it was fairly inexpensive. There's also the Pirate and Pals Fireworks Voyage, where you get a big chunk of time with Peter Pan and Captain Hook. So there are other places than the character meals to get to buy your character interaction.
Yeah, that's a good point. One of the things that you brought up a point about the Duck Goose, the game that your children played over there, and I think that's really what really makes the character special at Walt Disney World. It's not just
Duck Goose.
Yes, exactly. It's not just, going there, meeting the character, getting a hug, and leaving, kind of like that scene from when the kid's meeting Santa in A Christmas Story, where it's like, hurry up, kid, and then they shove you down the slide.
Down the slide.
I mean, there is some of that, not getting pushed down the slide, but, there's that kind of the monotony of that. But every now and then it seems that you can get that special occasion.
Yeah. Our character experience got very intensified very early on because when my oldest daughter was 3, we were standing waiting for the rope drop at Fantasyland. And I don't know, she had some pixie dust glow about her that day. And Minnie Mouse walked right up to her, grabbed her hand, and sort of looked at my husband and took my 3-year-old daughter to ride Dumbo with just her, Minnie Mouse and my daughter, on Dumbo. My daughter was in 3-year-old nirvana, and then we exited the ride. Minnie took her hand, walked her all the way down to Fantasyland, posed for photos with the Fab Five. They gave a certificate for a picture, and my husband said that was the most cost-effective 15 minutes of Minnie Mouse's time ever, because we were hooked, because of that. We bought our DVC membership. We go 3 times a year. That little 15 minutes of Minnie Mouse's very special attention really was what got us completely devoted to Disney. So it worked,
Yeah.
There's one Minnie Mouse now in every land in the Magic Kingdom doing that, picking out one family. And now they end up right by the DVC with the DVC booth in Adventureland.
Right, exactly.
Total coincidence.
I think another tip, Aaron, maybe you could talk a little bit about it, is like if your children are really into the characters and really enjoy it, there's like the next step in character meeting. And what I'm talking about are some of the things like at the studios, they have the Jedi Training Academy. They've had for years now Storytime with Belle and the Magic Kingdom. Tell our listeners a little bit about the opportunities for a little more interaction than just posing for pictures and maybe lucking out like your child did.
Well, those two that you mentioned are pretty big ones. And then there's things sort of along the lines of the Hidden Mickeys, but making a sort of a game of the character experience, trying to hunt for rare characters, trying to make lists of rare characters that have special meeting times. For instance, there are some characters that only come out during the Halloween party, or some characters that only come out during the marathon, and sort of make a game of trying to collect those characters. It can be really fun or challenging. What's
the hardest regular character to get?
The hardest regular character?
Yeah, like not one that only comes out of a marathon, because I don't think many people are going to train 26 miles.
It should be Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, just to get that Chloe Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Let's see. Hardest. There are different ones that come in and out. I can tell you ones that on the Moms panel we get asked quite a lot about are Wally, who knows what that's going to be all about. But we get asked about Phineas and Ferb all the time.
So where are Phineas and Ferb? I love that show.
I wish they would come, because that would make people very happy. But I have not seen them or heard about them. We also get asked about Giselle coming a lot.
Giselle.
I heard that it was in her contract that she's not allowed not her, Amy Adams' contract that the Giselle character cannot appear as a meet and greet character.
Really?
That's the word on the street. But.
There's also the new character greeting coming in a week or two, Tiana from the new Princess and the Frog movie, and people are very excited about that.
That movie looks good.
Yeah.
Now, Aaron, let's talk about some of the princesses and everything. But if you're looking to meet some of the main characters, Mickey, Minnie, the more popular characters out there, where are some areas, let's outline some areas that are, the big ones where it's kind of maybe not difficult to get to, but, it's going to be very popular over there. Maybe a spot or two that you know of that have worked out well in order to meeting characters with shorter lines.
The two main places I would say are in the Animal Kingdom Camp Minnie Mickey, and also
I totally was going to say that. Go ahead.
in Toontown, people tend to think, when the park opens, I'm going to run to Space Mountain, or I'm going to run to the safari or whatever. But if you want to have the interaction with characters, go to one of those two character spots first off when they open. Usually it's around 10 o'clock. And I've had several experiences at Camp Minnie Mickey where there's nobody there when they open, and I've gotten pictures with several characters at once because they're just standing there bored looking for people to hug. And so that's a great place. And the same thing, not quite as much at Toontown, but you can often, get several characters at once. And the other thing I forgot to say is, that what I talked about with Minnie having a special experience, that is sort of a very random thing. Children do get selected to have character interaction. There's not really much you can do to, up your odds of getting that to happen. But there is one particular place where you can sort of game the system with getting that special character interaction, and it's at the Goofy's Barnstormer, because it's pretty reliable that first thing when Toontown opens, Goofy's going to be there and he's going to ride on the Barnstormer with a child or two. So we've tried to game it ourselves a couple times and not been totally successful. We've been one or two behind the kid that did get to ride with Goofy. But if you're ambitious, that's one place where you can sort of plan to get a little special character interaction.
That's a great tip. I'll also add that if you're looking to meet Mickey Mouse, I think the best place to meet him is at Hollywood Studios at the end of the Magic Disney Animation, because it's indoors. It's always good when you're indoors. It's a dedicated line over there for him. He's in a Sorcerer Mickey outfit, if that matters to you or not. But it's just easier. It seems to me that it's the best place. It's going to have a lot less of a line than the judge's tent over in Toontown, because Magic Kingdom obviously is going to draw a larger crowd over there. And of course, you can also meet at the same area right over there. The Incredibles are there right now, but also they have the latest film generally. Right now it's Up, the characters from Up, but those are usually swapped out for whatever the latest animated film is from Disney. So just a little bit of a tip over there. Any other tips there, Aaron?
Well, one question that we get asked a lot about on the panel is we get questions from adults asking if it's okay for them to get in line to have a character photo or for them to go to a character meal. And it is absolutely 100% okay for adults to want to meet Mickey, get Mickey's autograph, get Mickey's picture. And you shouldn't be shy about that if you're an adult and that's what you want to do.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike Scopa's mentioned many, many times on this show that he enjoys meeting a certain princess from France every trip that he goes. But, you're absolutely right about that. And one other tip that I had heard, and I don't know what your thoughts about this are, Aaron. We were talking earlier about toddlers and how you adjusted your children to meeting the characters and everything. Uh-huh. Are you of the agreement? There's a theory that goes that you should that if you have young children and they haven't met characters before, maybe meeting a face character like one of the princesses would be a good intro.
Definitely a good intro. Sometimes children get a little upset because Mickey won't talk to them because they've seen Mickey on television and Mickey talks, and sometimes you have to have sort of in the back of your head or your repertoire of things that mom says. Why doesn't Mickey talk? Mickey lost his voice. Children come to Disney from many, many countries, and Mickey can't know the languages, so he wants to be fair, and you just have something in your head that you think is going to speak to your child about why Mickey won't speak to them.
Mickey doesn't like you, kid.
Mickey.
That's it. What do you mean? He talked to me. What do you mean? Or you mean you can't hear him?
Right.
You can hear him fine.
Uh-huh.
A couple other things. Another thing we get asked is, will Mickey hold my baby? Mickey will not hold your child. There's, I'm sure, legal issues involved with that. But if you have a baby, plan to have you hold the baby and next to Mickey, or put the baby in the stroller and have Mickey stand next to the stroller. Another thing we get asked about a lot is characters signing T-shirts, or the characters will sign pretty much anything. It doesn't have to be the autograph book. It doesn't
Just
have
like
to be
Motley
the Disney.
Crue. Go ahead.
They'll sign anything, but they will not sign body parts, and they will not sign clothing if you're actually wearing it. So people should be aware of that.
Interesting. Well, that was really very useful. So thank you very much for your time, Aaron. And of course, if you have more questions about characters, you'd probably be best served to go to the Disney World Moms panel and ask Aaron about it. We can try, but certainly Aaron has a little more experience with that. But we appreciate you helping us out there, Aaron.
Thank you very much for having me.
And don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All-Star Vacation Home. So after a long day meeting the characters and your child or children going crazy with euphoria after meeting them all, why not go back to your All-Star Vacation Home and take a nice break, relax? In fact, they even have rooms that are themed after the characters. Like we've been in Finding Nemo rooms. I've seen 101 Dalmatian rooms, Robin Hood, you name it. They've got these kinds of themed rooms. So if your children can't get enough characters, an All-Star Vacation Home may be a great solution for them. Check them out at www.allstarvacationhomes.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Aaron Foster, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.